welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2020 video. I thought I'd pick something that Lesley would be into, and, well, apparently it was British, and she didn't want to watch it so much. So, boo. So she's over there, she might chime in, but she wasn't really paying attention to it. And that's the Netflix original 2018 film Malevolent. Story about a brother-sister team of paranormal investigators who fake paranormal encounters for cash. But they get more than they bargain for when they go to a job at a haunted estate, and it turns very, very real. Yeah, that was right off of Netflix. I didn't make that up. But I did like their write-up on the film best because it hints at things without giving stuff away, which is one of the nice things about this film. And yeah, what it's about. The film is directed by Olaf de Fleur Johannesson, who I wasn't a person who had done much before or after this film, and I didn't notice anything of note. Writers Eva Constantopoulos wrote the book Hush, which this is based off of, and apparently she's also got a screenplay credit, but I have a feeling there wasn't much of it wasn't really her screenplay. It was the screenplay of Ben Katai, who, oddly enough, has some writing credits you may know. Tales from the Grudge, 30 Days of Night, Dust to Dust, and Blood Trails, as well as Dark Days, The Forest, Strangers Pray at Night, just before this one. So he isn't somebody who has, never been in genre work before, which is nice. And it may explain why the story itself seems very genre-like, but the directing, he may have needed to do a little bit more work. The main characters in this film are the paranormal investigators. It's a team of 4. The brother and sister are essentially the main characters. She is Angela, played by Florence Pugh, who I didn't recognize her so much. And looking through her stuff, there's a reason, because I hadn't seen much of anything, but she is playing Danny in that new Midsummer film, which I have not watched yet, which may be why I don't recognize her. Her brother, on the other hand, is Jackson, played by Ben Lloyd Hughes, who has been in quite a few things, including the Divergent films, which I have seen, where he played Will, and he was also in A Serial Killer's Guide to Life, which I have not seen. That was after this film, actually.
I want to watch that.
Also on the team is Elliot, played by Scott Chambers. Scott doesn't have the biggest... He's kind of like the tech guy in the group, so he doesn't have the biggest role in the film, but he's in a film Boy, Lambing Season, The Hippopotamus, Blood Money, Carnage, mostly stuff I have not seen. And then finally, rounding out the team of 4 is Beth, played by Georgina Bevan, who has been in only a handful of films, this being the last one. So, not much there. The character of Mrs. Green, the owner of the old haunted mansion estate, is played by Celia Imrie, the very talented and well-seasoned actor. She has been in tons of stuff, all different genres. I mostly know her for, say, like the drama type films. But she did start off with early on as being Barbara in House of Whipcord. And also Kate in Highlander. So, it wasn't that she wasn't in genre work at all. She was also in Murder by Moonlight, Snakes and Ladders. And I think I mostly know her more recently for the two exotic best. Oh, what the heck is the name of
That hotel?
the hotel movie? Yeah, that was probably on here somewhere. She's got a huge list. Just got to find it. The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel.
Didn't we see that?
We did see that, and there's a sequel to it, which we have not seen. It's a cute little film, I will say, which may be why it got a lot of, press. What I will say, I didn't even recognize that she was in it, was A Cure for Wellness. She was also in Bridget Jones's Baby. I don't know that I've seen that.
I saw it.
You saw that? She's in Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. That was slightly just before this. And a whole bunch of other things. I think of her as like the Mrs. Marple character, if you know that stuff. Very much along the lines of that kind of thing. But there's also another person in this film of note, which I was quite surprised to see, who plays the role of Grandpa. Very, very small little role. I think he's only in one scene, and that's James Cosmo. Very well-known actor. Played Campbell in Braveheart, Angus MacLeod in Highlander, Glaucus in Troy. He was in the Chronicles of Narnia, The Bay. He's going to be in the third Skyline film. Plus a whole bunch of other stuff. Not all genre work. Some of it is genre work. Some of it isn't. He's all over the place. He is very much that Scotsman, right? He's the red-headed Scotsman. He any part that calls for that kind of a look, he falls into it perfectly. That being said, the film, it does have a kind of a standard ghost story thing, where you're trying to figure out what the ghosts want, and you gotta solve the mystery to put their spirits to rest. But what this film, I think, was kind of lacking was, the scares. Like, where were the ghost scares? I guess they tried, but I don't think the director exactly knew how to do it. Visually, yeah, there are some visuals that are there that you could find scary and such, but it's there's kind of a recipe when it comes to ghost films, and it may seem formulaic, but it's one that works. So yeah, there's no real drawn out suspense going type thing, so you don't have that kind of scare going on. You don't have the loud jump scary type stuff happening really so much. You do see ghosts a lot, like I said, visually, yeah, maybe a little horrific, but all in all, it's malevolent. It's one of those films where whether to say spirits are evil or good or anything like that, you still gotta deliver that those horror scares, man. You still gotta deliver those ghost things, man. People are going into a ghost story, film expecting something, and if you don't deliver, yeah, it's one of those things that happens very often, it seems, with these Netflix films that they put out. They put out some money and have these films made, I guess relatively cheap, relatively quickly, and often by people who, aren't well versed in the genres that they're making films for. And what ends up happening is you get these kind of watered down films, right? They're not quite on par with something you would say see in theaters, but at the same time they still have a similar budget, which is weird. So I don't know why that is, but yeah, it happens to be the case here. This is very much a watered down type of ghost story. It's just lacking. That being said, the story itself, like the overall story, not bad. For the most part, it's well presented on screen. Just there are certain aspects that could have been a lot better and more along the lines of what is expected of a film of this nature. Yeah, there isn't much else you can really say about it. If you're looking for, I wouldn't say this is like the most recommended type of ghost story. If you're looking for a ghost story, I mean, it didn't draw Lesley in, even though she was here.
Because I was not here when you started.
You said you started watching it already.
No, I said I might have.
I'm pretty sure you did.
I start watching 10 million things, man.
But yeah, it's all right. It was okay. It was just it's what I would call a very light PG ghost story, if I had to call it anything. But yeah, hardcore horror fans probably won't get as much out of it as they would have liked. But if you're not somebody who watches horror on a regular basis and you're just looking for a little ghost story, but you don't want it to be too scary, hey, this is right up that alley. And what is this? Paranormal. What was that? Dang, I hate when these Netflix commercials come on and I'm shooting a movie video thingy here. And then it went away. And now I don't know what it is. Nuts. Oh well. Heck. Oh. Door just opened. I didn't realize somebody wasn't here. Ooh. Spooky. But yeah, so it's one of those things. If I had to rate it, I'd probably go 2.5. Technically, it's along the lines of a 3, but it just doesn't deliver. And there's another one. Dang it! I keep missing these ads on this Netflix, and I'm trying to pay attention to the camera, and then I catch a glimpse of something on the television here, and I'm like intrigued. But right as it turns over to the next slide. Anyways, let me know if you've seen the film Malevolent, Netflix original from 2018. I guess I'm late coming to the boat on that one. But yeah, comment down below. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.